Today's topic, safety meeting, is ladder safety. It's been a while since we've had a presentation for this. Over 90,000 emergency room accidents per year because of ladder falls. That's pretty significant. Over 500,000 trips to emergency facilities, whether it's ER or outpatient facilities there, and 14% of all occupational deaths per year are due to improper use of ladders. So I'll give you a quick overview of what we're going to go through here. Selection of ladders, inspection, setup, use, and finally care and storage. Selecting a ladder, what's important here, and you probably can't see it too well on the label here, but all of our ladders that are pretty much newer and the labels haven't worn out on them have a little sticker on there that tells you the weight capacity that you can have on the ladder and what type of ladder it is. We'll talk about that a little bit. There's basically 4 different types of ladders, and the way that they rate those pretty much is just by weight. So when you're wanting to figure out if it's safe for you to go onto a ladder, what you need to figure out is your body weight and then the weight of anything else that you're going to take on the ladder with you. And then make sure this one's okay for 250 pounds. So just make sure that you're under the weight there, and you're going to be guessing most of the time, and probably the majority of the time you're not even going to have to worry about this anyway if you're safely and working safely and not having too heavy of things with you. Must stand size here must stand 2 feet down from the top of the ladder. All of our ladders are equipped pretty much with a sticker on the top rungs that say please don't step above this rung on the ladder. Just pay attention to those as you're working. And we also have 3 types of ladders here on campus. One is the extension ladder, finally the step ladder also, and then twin step. And the twin step ladder is where you can have a person on each side of the ladder. I think Dan's got one at Washington Tower, and we also have one that we kept. Glenn's guys actually were using it the other day, and Todd, we keep it down in the basement of Todd. So those are our 3. The most common ladder that we're going to use obviously on campus is the step ladder, just so you know. Selecting extension ladders, we have variable length ladders obviously. The important thing you need to know from this graph is that the higher that you need to go on your ladder, the more that you're going to have to overlap from the point where your ladder is contacting on the top, whether it's a roof, a wall, or whatever it might be. Just kind of be aware of that statistic, and always just if you're guessing on these things or if you're out there on a job, just go a little bit longer than what you think might be necessary just to be on the safe side, and use a little common sense there. Inspecting your ladder. A lot of people don't really think about it before they get on a ladder, but it really is important to look at the ladder and make sure that everything's in working condition. I've gotten on ladders before where they've been tied together with wire pretty much and broken off rungs on them. It wasn't too smart on my half. Go ahead and glance over it and look for any major cracks and splits in the wood ladders, bend and breaks in any metal ladders, areas where things might have been distorted because of weathering or heat or something like that. Important here, do not attempt to fix a broken ladder. Report it immediately to your supervisor, immediate supervisor, and mark it as broken. We definitely don't want to keep those on site here for anybody to use just by accident. So make sure you do that, and got a couple pictures. The orange one there is obviously a step ladder, and then just inspecting your hinges and stuff. There's a picture of the wooden ladder there. It's a very, very important thing to do. Ladder setup here. First thing I want to do is carrying your ladder to your site, wherever it might be. Extension ladders, longer ladders, you always just want to carry those parallel to the ground. Step ladders, just make sure you're carrying them in the closed position, not when they're opened up like the A-frame. Just make sure they're closed wherever you have to go. And obviously always just be cautious of your surroundings. Brian pointed out to me, we were working behind Stearns the other day, and there's electrical wiring and some issues that we had to watch out for on ladders that I mean, I would have just totally missed it, and there's this huge big electrical line. So just be aware of those things. And then finally here, use the 4-to-1 rule for setting up a ladder. And this is a picture of our extension ladder that we use. And the 4-to-1 rule is basically the higher that you go up on the wall, if you go 4 feet up, you want to go 1 feet out away from the wall. So I know Carrie and Chris were working on that one thing behind Mitchell. It's going to come into play, and you would think that it might be a little bit more, that you would want a bigger angle, I guess, against the wall, but really that it's just going to allow the ladder to kind of split out from underneath you instead. So more of an upright position is kind of what you're looking for there, but a 4-to-1 rule is a good thing to keep in mind. Just a couple other notes on ladder setup here. Place your ladder, the base of your ladder, on firm level ground. You may need to adjust legs or build up one leg if unable to stand level. We have ladders that are capable of adjusting the legs on the bottom of them. It's perfectly safe to put 2x4s or something, a big base that would raise one side of the ladder, as long as you're using your common sense and watching your environment there. Watch out for electrical wires, trees, limbs, etc. Again, just common knowledge stuff for safety here. Do not use ladders outdoor in high winds. I don't think anybody here is going to tell you if you have a question about the winds here in Texas and going out and doing some work on high ladders. They're going to tell you, yeah, it must be done by today. We're obviously very concerned about your safety. And so if you're concerned about it, just approach your supervisor and we'll talk about it and make sure that you're in the safest environment possible. Do not set up any ladders on movable objects. It's pretty just common sense there. And do not climb a ladder that is tilting in any way. Using ladder, this is obviously textbook form for climbing a ladder. Notice that both hands are on the side rails of the ladder, focused. The feet are in the middle position on the rungs. This is what you're looking for on ladder safety here. Do not attempt to lean on a ladder. A good rule is to have your belt buckle. It shouldn't go to the side of the rail. It's just a good rule of thumb to keep in mind. Those didn't come out too well on the lighting here, but you can definitely see the belt buckle slid past the rail there. Not very good. And the other one here, I got Chris in a safe environment. Got Chris to demonstrate standing on the top rung of the ladder. That's definitely something that we want to stay away from at all points on campus. But you know, these demonstrations were taking place in a highly protected and safe environment, so we do not
Fall protection.
Exactly. We're just protecting ourselves here. Do not stand on a paint shelf. I'm pretty sure the only ladders that we have on our campus with these little shelves for cans of paint or paint pans or whatever you might need them for they're all in the paint shop. They're all carry side. So just so you're aware of that, if you grab anything from the other side of the FPO where our offices are, none of them will have that shelf on there. But don't use that to balance or to stand on at all. Those are just strictly used for tools and things that you need to take up to have up there. One person on a ladder at a time, and do not attempt to walk or reposition the ladder while on it. And basically what that means is while you're on the ladder, if you're trying to shift it over just a couple inches or a couple feet, a lot of people just shimmy it over and without coming off the ladder, moving the ladder, and then getting back on. We want you to come back off if you have to move the ladder in any certain way. It's definitely something to keep in mind. Ladder care and storage, finally. This is the section of the shop here, obviously, where we keep the ladders. And we've designated that area for a reason. It's out of the effects of weathering. It's in a safe place where the ladders are rested up against something. Chances are they're not going to just fall, even if something crazy is happening around you or whatever. They're pretty good stationary there. And also, it's just a good place where everybody can access them there. But when you're thinking about carrying and storing your ladder, do not use a ladder having fire damage or exposed to toxic chemicals. A lot of times you'll be able to see those things right away, even if they're in a stored location. They might have that on there. Do not store materials on your ladder. We don't want to have anybody resting anything on there just in case they go and grab a ladder right away and it falls off and could injure somebody pretty easily. And again, not leaving the ladders in an area where they can be weathered. Ladder care and storage, again, just transporting ladders. This is the top of our electrical cart that you often see with the ladders. Just make sure that they're secured while they're up there and you're having to move it. We have bungee cords even. I know, Jason, you guys transporting a lot of ladders back and forth in different situations. So just want to go the extra step to make sure that those aren't going to fall off the cart when you're going. It's happened to me before. So we do have those bungee cords there for a reason. And again, that's just reiterating what we've already said about checking your ladder. I've directed all comments to our safety expert, but he's not here today, so if you guys have any questions, I can take those at this time. Otherwise, we can go ahead and take the quiz.